And now it's time for story time with Mason. Yeah, so I did this because Gage and kind of me came up with it, I guess, and I thought it can be a cool thing to do because I've never really done a video by myself before, so I took it upon myself to start this. But I should let you know that I have three problems. A, I have a very, very distracted, disoriented mind. B, I can't really tell good stories at all. And C, I have no stories. So I don't really know what the point of this video is going to be, but I'm going to try and tell some kind of story. So bear with me just a little bit, like that much, okay? Thanks. Metal Gear. Otacon, a bunch of shit's going down. What do I do?
Do a barrel roll! Do a barrel roll!
So, once upon a time, there's a guy named Dan. Now, one day, Dan was walking back home from school, and Dan was a very sad and lonely man. He was 23, he lived with his parents, and all he had for a friend was a cat. So, Dan's walking home from school, college, yes I know, and he just happens upon this bush. He's like, oh, that's a cool bush, I should look at that closer. And as he gets to the bush, he notices that there's a Bidoof behind the bush. And so the guy goes, holy balls, there's a Bidoof behind that bush. So of course Dan's like, well, I gotta catch this thing. I gotta balance out my Pokemon team, because all I have right now is a Rattata and a Pidgey. And if I catch a Bidoof, the Pidgey's flying power will be cut down by the Bidoof and the Rattata's super lameness. So he reaches into his backpack, he pulls out his lightsaber, and he beats the crap out of this Bidoof for like 12 minutes, because that's how we catch Pokemon in real life. So he caught the Bidoof, and he comes home, and he's like, hey mom, look at this Bidoof I caught. And he's holding up the dead limp body of the Bidoof. And his mom goes, that's cool, hey, I'm gonna go do meth in the backyard. And the guy's like, what? And his mom's like, yeah, okay, I'll see you tonight. So Dan is just sitting there, in his room, with this limp body of a Bidoof, while his mom's doing meth in the backyard. And he thinks, I really wish there was some way I could bring this Bidoof back to life, you know, because it would just be a good friend for me, because I don't really have any friends, because Dan was a sad and a lonely man. So he calls up his best friend, and by best friend I mean guy who lives 3 stores down from him that he stalks on Facebook. His name is Bert, and he calls Bert, and he goes, hey Bert, how do I bring a Bidoof back to life? And Bert goes, use a full restore. And then he hangs up, and Dan goes, duh, a full restore. So he goes to the store, and he picks up this full restore, and he looks at the price tag, and the price tag is 98,000 Pokedollars, which translated into English money is really only about $12. And he goes, oh, okay, that's a really reasonable price, $12. Damn it, cat. So he goes, that's a really reasonable price, $12. And he opens his wallet, and he only has $11.52. So he goes out onto the street, and he asks this homeless guy, he's like, hey, you got 52 cents? And the homeless guy's like, yeah, sure, here you go. And he gives him 52 cents. So the guy's like, oh, cool, thanks. So he goes back in, he buys the full restore, and he brings his Bidoof back to life. And it was a good day for all. But the epilogue is much scarier, and that's another story. I'll tell you that sometime, but not today. Well, maybe today. We'll see. Epilogue. Right, so, epilogue. When the earth was young and my people ruled the planet, there was a man named Dan. The Dan from before. And Dan once came up to me and he said, hey dude, can you give me like 52 cents? And I was like, yes, quite, here you go. And Dan was like, cool, thanks. And I was like, no problem, man. But he didn't hear me because he walked back inside the store. Anyway, 3 days later, I was walking past a grenade shop, and they're very popular in New Jersey. Anyway, grenade shop, and I looked at grenades that were on sale, and there was this one for 51 cents, and I was like, man! If I hadn't given that guy that 51 cents, I could have had a grenade, and then I could have caused all kinds of political upset. So the moral of the story is to not give strangers 52 cents. You can give them like 48 cents. But if you only have like 52 cents, I wouldn't give it to a stranger, because you might need to buy a hand grenade and cause political unrest. Yeah, that's pretty much it.